Guys, welcome back to Play on Footy. Today we're going to be looking at a trade update. It's been a while. To be honest with you, I've sort of switched off from the trade period because it was just absolutely a snooze fest, to be quite frank with you. So obviously awakening today to the news of, West Coast Eagles giving up pick 3 to Carlton in exchange for Matt Owies, and I think it was pick, 73, and that was it, pick 73, and Carlton gave 14 to Richmond, and then Richmond gave Liam Baker to us. So yeah, I'll unpack that. Also some more trade updates which we'll get into. So let's start off with the trade updates. There's been no real further developments on the Dan Houston trade. The clubs that are still interested, you're looking at sort of North Melbourne, and Carlton are obviously sort of backed out of that one. So at this stage, I think it could be North. There's still some umming and ahhing around Magpies, whether Dan Houston gets there. Ivan Soldo has been told no by the Saints, so I don't really know what's going to happen there. I don't think he's going to go up to Damien Hardwick's join up in the Gold Coast. I don't even know where Ivan Soldo will land. I think he might have to stay at Port. I mean, getting to a club for 1 year and then saying, no, I want to go back, it's just an absolute stuff around. And the power of the of women, hey, it's an interesting one for Ivan Soldo. I think he's just got to bite the bullet and just stay there as well. But not great news. Jack McRae as well for the Saints. He's probably pretty likely to land at the St Kilda Football Club, to be honest, at this stage. We'll just see obviously what happens there. And then obviously the latest news with the whole Baker, Matt Owies to Eagles. Eagles fans are fuming. On SEN 657, Kane Corns was basically saying that the Blues have won the trade period hands down. I'm not really going to go as far to say that. Kane Corns obviously is a bit of a shock jock and will just say go to extreme lengths either side, negative or positive. I think, there's a lot of depth in this year's draft, and I think that the Eagles really needed to get some experience coming in, some leadership, and all of that comes down to age. You see that with, the North Melbourne Football Club. They're looking at the Jack Darlings and Luke Parkers to aid their really young group that they have. And the same thing with, Hawthorn. That's why they had, Jack Gunston come back from Brisbane Lions to Hawks to give some guidance to the forwards there, and obviously Luke Bruce as well, who stayed on for a bit longer, to aid those younger guys. So it's an interesting one, and it's a tactic that a lot of the top clubs use to try and fast track or surpass the rebuild stage. So I think at this stage, the jury's out. Kane Corn's argument was that Sheasel's been way better than Jimby or Hewitt. Hewitt hasn't got his body right, and Jimby has been sort of played out. He's been trialled in the middle and then went to halfback flank. So where he will be played in 2025 is only up to Mini, Andrew McWalter. So to see where he'll play him, but I'm not going to go to extreme length saying, oh, the Eagles have lost the trade. It is a pretty interesting one, considering that the Blues literally were going to delist Owies, and Richmond obviously weren't going to delist Baker, but they could have taken Baker to the preseason draft. Same with Owies. I mean, we literally could have got Owies for free, I suppose, but there needed to be an incentive to Carlton. I just think pick 3 is way too much for a team that's really supposed to be getting some really good quality youth coming through. We do have a lot of youth at the moment, and obviously we've had, our fair share of mid-season draftees in Cully, and obviously Marriott and Hutchinson. But I just think that, it's going to be a time will tell, basically. I think, Matt Clark and Don Pike, I think they know what they're doing. But if pick 3 turns out to be the next Jard or Cripps or Gary Ablett, oh man, you'd be spewing massively. But again, it's just a pick. It doesn't, I can't even name anyone else but Harley Reid in last year's draft. That just goes to show how meaningless all these picks mean. It just really comes down to whether the club is going to need a player of that type. And I think at this stage, I think you've got Always and Baker, who the Eagles probably think they can run through the middle, in addition with Graham to give that rotation. So we'll see what happens. So I think it's I'm obviously fuming as well as a lot of the Eagles fans, but at the end of the day, I think they're probably waiting for a good pick to slide to 12, as there is a lot of depth. And I think the strategy was always to take away the pick 14 away from the Hawks. Now, if we don't like what the Hawks are offering, we can just hang on to Brass, and at least we still got Baker. So that's another thing probably the Eagles were expecting. So we'll see. But for the Blues, they've got Jacob Smith, Sam Layla, Harvey Langford, and Finn O'Sullivan, the cousin of Sam Walsh, who they would be looking at strongly, and they're probably looking around that pick 3 mark for one of those guys. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, at this time of the year, I think everyone just thinks they're an absolute pro in the draft. I'm certainly not. I've been learning a lot so far this year about the draft, and there's a lot of cogs of the wheel that need to be turned and to be worked out as well. But yeah, to be honest with you guys, the draft period at this stage has been a real interesting one. Yeah, I think a lot of the clubs, like even with I guess Collingwood getting Perryman, it just really depends on where the list is at. A lot of people are saying, oh, you're paying too much for Perryman, 900 grand and stuff like that for an untried, player. But at the end of the day, if a player comes into a club looks at a player from another team and they can see where that player will fit in that the team's really missing, I think that would definitely sway a club to go, hey, look, we probably have this player on our list that's X years old. We need to move him on at 2027. We need to get some sort of movement there to aid this to happen. And I think that's probably what they do with Matt Always. I think Jamie Cripps is probably on the way out pretty soon. I think 2025 may be his last year. So they needed to get another small forward, and Matt Always is probably, a perfect fit for that. Hopefully he backs up the season he had in 2024 into 2025. But, we can't predict everything. There's injuries that happen and all that sort of stuff. So we just got to take everything with a pinch of salt, especially in this competition, which is so highly competitive and robust these days, that the players really need to make sure that their bodies are in tip-top shape. Just in, guys, so Houston to Pies is pretty much done. Noble to Suns, Lukosius to Port, Rory Atkins to Port, and Joe Richards to Port. So that's just been sort of announced just then, guys. So that is happening. Yeah, Houston, we have a problem, is no more. He has found a home in the Pies with his best mate, Nick Dacos. What do you guys reckon about that one? That one's probably going to get a lot of Pies fans happy. What do you guys reckon? Comment down below. What are you liking so far this draft period, trade period, I should say? Have the Eagles done the right thing? Are you a Blues fan? Are you a Richmond Tigers fan? Comment down below, like, subscribe. Oh yeah, and lastly, the Bailey Smith thing. So that really could be going to the preseason draft at this stage. I think they're going to be playing hardball, Western Bulldogs and Geelong. So that'll be an interesting one. I'll try and give you an update if I get any more information on that. But yeah, comment down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.